So I figured out what the speed ticket was for. It had the time on it. So when you get here, they look at your arrival time, and based on that, they can tell if you're speeding or not.
My name is Patrick. Recently I retired after 26 years as a police officer and sold everything I owned. Now it's time for something different. A journey of healing and inspiration. I'm setting out to ride my motorcycle around the world, searching for beauty, connection, and the freedom of the open road. This is my life now. This is Adventures Without Borders.
So evidently, the bridge I need to cross at the other end of town was closed for construction. So I'm having to come back to where I started from, which is not a huge detour. But yeah, and just go around from the backside. There's another bridge. There was this, I actually ended up going down a one-way street briefly until I realized that everybody was coming at me, and this lady who was walking by came to stop to give me directions, and I mean, her directions made no sense at all, but she was so kind. So this road I'm on right now is actually, my hotel is just 2 blocks down. So had I known, oh well, that cost me like 10 minutes, no big deal. So there seems to be a bit of a cycling culture here. We just passed a guy on a road bike. I've seen a lot of people doing what I'm guessing is some kind of loop on this road here, because I've seen them going up and down. So that's really cool. So I don't know if that's like a sport that Belize is known for in the Olympics or whatever, but yeah, there's my hotel right there. Well, I haven't been down here, so that gives me a chance to see what's... I don't think there's much, but I get to have a look anyway. So as I like to do before crossing a border, I sort of read different accounts as to what you can expect. Central America, my experience so far is that borders are not, it's not always obvious. There's a lot of weirdness where you got to go to different buildings, and sometimes you got to pay in a different building than where you get your documents and so forth. So I've looked it all up. I've got my documents ready to go, all the photocopies I need. I've made a neat little pile of the ones I need today. So hopefully this isn't too complicated. I'm of course scarred from the last time I crossed into Guatemala in 2020, and my bike was registered in a different province then, in Saskatchewan, and Saskatchewan doesn't provide like an original document for, it's all electronic for your registration, because they don't really take into account that people are going to be traveling internationally. So that meant my registration is just printed on a plain white piece of paper, and they would not accept that. Like to them it was a photocopy. This is the bridge I was looking for. So far so good. Anyway, so I ended up having to go to a notary and get like an affidavit type document, a sworn document that this registration was valid and yada yada. So I mean, I got in at the end, but not after spending money and time doing it. And I finally downloaded the iOverlander app. I haven't really felt that I needed it until now, but and to use it now, you pretty much have to have a paid subscription, so I did that. Yeah, it looks like it can be of some value. I mean, if I was camping, I think it would be way more crucial. But even for finding like places to eat and whatever, it's sort of nice. All right, I'll check back in with you as I get closer. All right, I'm pretty close to the border, like I'm guessing less than a kilometer, but kind of hard to tell. So the first thing I'm gonna have to do is stop on the Belize side, get stamped out, and cancel my temporary importation permit. Yeah, it might still be a couple of minutes away. Okay, this is the border checkpoint. Hi there. Thank you. So there are signs for parking rates, but I did read somewhere else that you don't actually have to pay to park, so. No parking. Sure. All right, let's go inside. Oh my God, I'm in Guatemala. That took just under an hour and a half, which honestly, that's with doing everything on both sides. Not bad at all. And I remember my memories from my last trip to Guatemala were that they speak slower here. Well, that's not been the case so far. But I managed to get most of what the border people were telling me. Context is always helpful, and having done this sort of thing before, so you kind of know what they're telling you. I'll tell you, well, obviously it's inefficient, but so you do all your paperwork for your temporary import permit, and then you're supposed to pay at this bank, and I just passed it back there by the Texaco, which is about a kilometer away, and you can't obviously take your bike yet, so you got to walk or take a taxi. And so that's 160 quetzales, and it's about 6 Canadian dollars to a quetzales. It's 5.77 right now. Or there's a photocopy place kind of across the road from where customs is located, and you go there and pay 200 quetzales, which is roughly $7 more. Is that right? 47 times, yeah, give or take. And then you don't have to walk that extra kilometer. So that's what I did. There is a guy who right away offered to help me. He didn't speak English, so he's not a fixer per se. I'm honestly not sure if they work for the government or whatever. They might be like with tourism. Didn't ask for any money, but I did offer him a tip because he was very helpful. So yes, that's that. And bottom line is I'm in. I've got my import permit. I've got my passport stamped. I would like to find somewhere to get something cold to drink. I think this is a tienda here, Super 24. I'll pop in there and see what kind of delicious drinks they have. Yeah. I'm like just over 10 kilometers away from my destination here. Pretty short day, but again, the border was a bit of an unknown for me in terms of how long it would take, so better to err on the side of caution and leave. I was gonna leave even earlier, but I couldn't really get going that early this morning. Just want to add a few things to the border just for, I know some people watch these videos who are planning on doing this trip or a similar trip. So, costs at the border. Belize, there is a 40 Belizean dollar exit tax. And I paid that by credit card to save my cash so I could exchange it. I exchanged a little bit of cash on the Belizean side just in case. I mean, you're obviously not going to get the rate that you would get at a bank. So if you're checking like on xc.com or whatever, that's not a realistic rate to expect from changers at the border, because obviously that's their means of making a living. So I got a fairly decent rate of exchange on the Belizean side. And then on the Guatemalan side, I exchanged $100 US. And that was about 740 quetzales that I got in exchange for that. Anyway, so $40 Belizean as an exit tax. That's the only fee on the Belizean side. And you stamp your passport out, and then they cancel your TIP, your importation permit. Then there was a fumigation fee. Again, it was a phantom fumigation because they don't fumigate the bike, but and honestly I don't remember exactly. It was about 20 or 24 quetzales, somewhere in that area. Then I parked my bike right there where I paid, and that's when the gentleman started helping me out. So the only fee that I paid on the Guatemalan side was the 200 quetzales for the importation permit. So 200 quetzales, 40 Belizean dollars, and then like 20 something quetzales was my total requirement for the day. Again, if you want to save a few dollars, you can walk the kilometer to the bank to pay for your TIP, or you pay the extra 40 as a service fee and pay at the coffee place. So, I mean, it's an inefficient border process, but it wasn't super complicated. The one thing I had to do, I had to pay 2 quetzales for a copy, and so I have all my copies, right? I made copies of my passport, my driver's license, my registration. But what they require there is the customs people require a copy of your Guatemalan entry stamp that you got from immigration. So you get your entry stamp, and then you cross the road to the copy place, copy the stamp in your passport, add it to your pile, bring it to them. Like I said, this tells me that they have a paper record keeping system, which whatever, it's their border. But that's what eats up all the time. There wasn't really any lineup to speak of. I did wait a couple of minutes to pay the 40 Belizean dollar exit fee. But it's just the back and forth that eats up most of your time. So that was the border crossing in a nutshell. On iOverlander, there's a breakdown. I might add some notes to that. But essentially, there's a really good breakdown on iOverlander of what's required to cross. The views here are stunning. Like, you're kind of in like smaller mountains here, and it's very green. It's farmland. There's cattle that you encounter every so often. The roads are kind of crap though, and of course through the villages you got to watch out for those speed bumps, and even the speed bumps are all damaged. That's a big pothole. And the speed limit typically tends to be 70, although it slows down every time you're in a village. I'll be honest, on these roads I don't really want to be going much faster. Oh, there's the lake. Beauty. I'm staying near a lake, so I assume that's my lake. Maybe not. Well, that's gorgeous. I don't know if the GoPro will pick that up. Beautiful. You know, I'll be honest with you. I was a little stressed about this border crossing. Again, because of my previous experience and stories I've heard from others. But if all your paperwork's in order, it really shouldn't be more complicated than what I just experienced. And they were quite friendly. The final check where they, before you get into the country, and they make sure you got all your stuff, those guys were, I heard them talking about the flag. I've got a sticker of the Canadian flag on the bike. And they asked me if I was from Canada and how long it had taken me to get here, and welcomed me. So I always find that nice, especially coming from officials, because we tend to have this perception that, you know, border people or whatever are unfriendly, and you get what you give as well. So I'm down to the last 5K. And it's almost lunchtime as well. All right, check in with you shortly. So this is actually El Remate, where I'm staying tonight. It's right on a lake. On the far side of this lake, and I think it's like 25-30 kilometers away, is Flores, which is that famous little island. Well, this is all very, very quaint. It's like a little resort village. Las Gardenias. So okay, I just passed where my hotel is, although it's not a hotel, it's a Airbnb. So hopefully I've already got some check-in information from the host there, but I'll keep going a bit longer, see what else is up here. Alright, let's see if I can grab some lunch here. Good morning, it's Wednesday morning. So I'm not really sure what happened today. I had booked transportation and tour up to Tikal, and although it said 8 o'clock when I texted, 8 o'clock is when they left Flores, so I was expecting them to pick me up at 8:45. I waited till just about 9:30, and no one ever showed. Now, a bus did pull up, not exactly where it was supposed to, and a guy asked me if I was going to Tikal. He said it was a collectivo, and I said, well, actually I booked a tour, and he said, oh, okay. So I don't know, maybe I was supposed to get on that, so I'll figure that out. I booked it through like an online service, so I should be able to get a refund. It was about $40. Tikal is only about 32 kilometers, 34 kilometers from where I am, so to be honest, it might even be better just to go on my own. I find the tours, they stretch them out so that you feel like you're getting your money's worth or whatever, and sometimes it's just too long. And being as these are my 4th Mayan ruins now, I don't need to be there for 4 hours, so this might work out better. I just actually entered the park, so you go through a gate, and I should have run the camera, but I didn't think about it. So I bought my ticket online, so that's the first thing they check. Then there's a guy, I didn't actually read it, but he gave me a little slip of paper he said it's my speed limit verification document. So I think it's just to say that they told me. So you're not allowed to go more than 45 in the park, which is not easy to do because there's like 15 kilometers left, but it's all good. About 7 minutes away. It's beautiful forest. So, I figured out what the speed ticket was for. It had the time on it. So when you get here, they look at your arrival time, and based on that, they can tell if you're speeding or not. All right, let's go have a look. So it's a huge site. I'm heading to the main plaza first. It's the highest concentration of pyramids. And sorry, stairs are getting to me. And the most famous pyramid is there too. Interesting fact. Parts of Star Wars were filmed here. And although I like Star Wars, I can't remember, I think it's Alderaan that was depicted. Is that Leia's home planet? I believe that's what's depicted in that famous shot when they're coming in over the trees. Well, it's the pyramids here that you're seeing peeking over the tree lines. Interesting. I have to say that just in the first few minutes of being in the Grand Plaza here, I already think this is probably the most impressive of the 4 parks or the 4 sites I've been to on the trip so far. Just the sheer quantity of buildings and pyramids is just very impressive.